Hello, thank you so much for joining me. As the weather is rather, shall we say, inclement today, I've shuffled inside. And I want to talk about changes. A lot of clients say that they need to make changes. And if you look at the size of the change, then it can be rather overwhelming. I will record after this another piece on how to help you make changes, but this is a light-hearted look at some of the changes that I have made, that we have made in general, basically since I was this little lass in her tap shoes many moons ago. Yes, so that was Little D. And the piece that I'm going to read is one that popped up on Facebook with unknown author, and it made me chuckle. So here we go. And I'm attempting to do it without reading glasses on. So fingers crossed that it goes okay. And there's not too many, what's that? Okay. So pasta wasn't eaten. Curry was a surname. A takeaway, that was a maths problem. A pizza, or maybe I should say pizza, was something to do with a leaning tower. Crisps, well, they were plain, and the only choice we had was whether to put the salt on or not. And the salt used to come in little blue twists of paper. Rice, well, that was only eaten as a milk pudding. A Big Mac, that was something we wore when it was raining. Brown bread was something only poor people ate. Oil, that was for lubricating, and fat was for cooking. Good old lard. Tea was made in a teapot using tea leaves and never green. And I have to say, for me, that remains the only way to make tea. Sugar enjoyed a good press in those days and was regarded as being quite gold. Cubed sugar, well, that was posh. Fish didn't have fingers. Eating raw fish was called poverty, not sushi. None of us had ever heard of yogurt. Healthy food consisted of anything edible. People who didn't peel potatoes, they were regarded as lazy. Cooking outside, that was camping. Seaweed wasn't recognised as food. Kebab was not even a word, never mind a food. Prunes, they were strictly medicinal. Surprisingly, muesli was readily available. It was called cattle feed. Water came out of a tap. If someone had suggested bottling it and charging more than petrol for it, they would have become a laughingstock. And the things that we never ever had on our table in the 50s were elbows or phones. Yeah. I have to say, on this similar theme, I did struggle with some of the changes. I lived in Cyprus when decimal currency came in here in the UK. So by the time I got back, everybody was used to it. And I would go into a shop and, right, okay, what are these new coins? Obviously, I quickly adjusted, but at first it was a bit of a shock to the system. And one thing that always used to puzzle me was the different names of what I used to call muffins, or heaven forfend, oven bottoms. And they aren't what we call muffins now, the sweet cakes. They were what other people call bread buns, baps, bread cakes. When I made some of my many first moves as a young wife, I would go into a baker's shop and point, could I have 4 of those, please? Oh, you mean the bread buns? Yes, right, I know now. So we do make changes. I've changed from that little girl in the photograph to this big girl now. She's somewhere inside of me, and she still likes to come out and have a giggle and a chuckle at times. As my friend Glenys knows, we are both ladies of a certain age, and we speak every day on the phone, and we more often than not end up giggling like silly schoolgirls. But it does us a power of good, and I don't care. So, changes, you can make changes. Just remember the changes that you have made, the ones without recognising, like growing from the child to the adult, and going from the brown-haired to the grey, going from the smooth-skinned to the wrinkled, etc., etc. These are all changes that we have made. And when it comes to making other changes, life changes, then the best steps are baby steps. So I will talk about that in the next piece. Thank you. Oh, talking about steps, there's a furry fella. Come and join me, Mishka. Come on, come on. This is one thing that has never changed for me. He doesn't like being on camera, but I do love animals. I have always loved animals, don't I? Hey. So, from Mishka and myself, bye for now. Take care. Bye.